Hey Walking Dead fans, welcome back to the channel. Let's go over some news, some items, some articles, some stuff that's out there. Not a lot of big stuff, but some interesting stuff. And as usual, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Much appreciated supporting the channel and viewing the videos. And just wanted to give a big shout out to the community area of the channel. I've been posting some photos, best caption stuff, and like I said in a previous video, you guys really come through and make me smile. You put some pretty funny stuff down there, and always it's good. And kudos to a lot of the good stuff and best captions, especially to the Father Gabriel photo, which I just put up. I thought, there won't be any good ones for this one. I don't know really what to say. And you guys surprise me every time and put some really good stuff. So check out the community section if you haven't on the channel. Okay, first up is an article coming from Bleedingcool.com. I'll put the links to these in the description below, but Bleedingcool is a cool bleeding website. So what this author has tried to do is come out with some pitches of how to further along the Walking Dead universe, some other ideas, some spawning, some spin-offs and stuff like that. And I thought they were pretty cool enough to regurgitate pretty much, I guess, here and throw in some opinion and see what you guys think about it all. First up, they threw out there the Walking Dead universe what if, and we've been doing a little what if here on the channel. What if Shane lived and some stuff like that. But the author says a what if audio drama series that explores how things might have gone if things were different. What if Herschel had lived? What if Daryl hadn't made a run at Negan and Glenn had lived? What if Maggie had killed Negan? What if T-Dog was able to get Merle free? So many options, and we already saw how fascinating it is to watch it play out during Denai's or Michonne's last episode, right? So I agree there. I think we all agree. Some type of what if thing is really cool. We all like that. You guys really like that kind of thing. Audio drama, we like visuals. We like to see stuff, but I would take an audio drama for sure of some what ifs. But then they throw in out there the Walking Dead anime. And the author says, I'm talking either Powerhouse Animation Studios or Wit Studio, because if you give it a Castlevania look and with an early season Attack on Titan vibe, you have a hit on your hands. Imagine either of those studios getting their hands on animating Beta's Horde. So yeah, I'm not just a huge fan of anime, but I like it. And there's some stuff that I really like from that. A anime Walking Dead kind of set like that, I would watch it. I would take it. So then they bring up the Walking Dead International, something else that we've all wanted and want all the time and ask for and suggest. So the author says it was already done in Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin's The Walking Dead, The Alien, something I've talked about a bunch here on the channel, which introduced us to Rick's brother Jeffrey. Wesley Chu's Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead Typhoon, that's a novel. It expanded the TWD universe into China. And now I say we start having a series set in, produced in, and starring people native to other countries. No dubbing. Each show is done in the country's native language and gets subtitles here in the U.S. Netflix has already proven that there are a ton of eyeballs out there for international programming as the number of folks who don't want to read shows gets smaller. And I would go for that. I would go for some of that other country stuff. I think that's something we all want. There's a couple other things, and the last thing in the article the author mentions is a comedy, and I'm just not for a comedy. I would say no to that. The author tries to give a few reasons, but I'm just going to say no to any comedy, Walking Dead comedy myself. That's my own opinion. But right before that, they said the Walking Dead West Wing 24 type thing. I'd love to see an Aaron Sorkin walk and talk crossed with a political thriller detailing the years, months, days, depending on series commitment, leading up to when it all went south. There's still a ton of backstory possibilities that could be mined, and adding a little conspiracy to the franchise's mythology could work. Maybe CRM existed before the Walker Fest kicked off. Maybe some social manipulations gone wrong. Yes, that's a big hell yes. That's a big oh hell yes. That is the kind of thing that is freaking gold. And I don't know if Kirkman and AMC understands it. I think they might. And I don't know what they're waiting for. They've got a lot going on, I guess. The movies and the shows and the stuff, current story that they're telling. They know they're sitting on a gold mine. If they did some, like they're saying here, walk and talk crossed with a political thriller detailing the years, months, and days leading up to when it all went south, and especially seeing some kind of inside, a little eyeball on that. That, my friends, is gold. Gold. About the CRM existed before the Walker Fest. There's a lot of theories about that going on, and you could almost say they almost had to, being set up as well as they are. Civic Republic Military, CRM. So the more we find out about this, I would say maybe they formed after, but they were something. They were something before. They had some connection, some power. They were some powerful people, something before. And I hope we find that out in the show World Beyond. I hope we really find out really who these people were before. And I think we will, because in that first episode, the trailer, the tease that we've got so far of World Beyond, there's that plane crash when the little girls were kids and their dad is some important figure that they go looking for. So he's an important person. You got that plane crash. All of this was way back in the very beginning. So I'm hoping we see who these people were, why they came together, formed the community that they did in World Beyond, which is part of the CRM. We should see how the CRM formed, really. That's one big reason why I'm really, really anticipating seeing that series World Beyond. But other than the comedy, I thought the author did really good ideas, some really good stuff. And they said they hope Kang or Kirkman or somebody, Gimple, is watching or reading the article to get some of those ideas. And maybe they will. Maybe they already had some up their sleeve. But anything predating day one or around day one, the start, the fall, before the fall, that's gold, man. So going to a cinemablend.com article, we're looking at a interview with Michael Rooker, who played Merle, and what was his favorite scene. And it's an interview with Sci-Fi Wire that they talk some about Guardians of the Galaxy and some about The Walking Dead. And here's something he said about The Walking Dead. He said, from day one all the way to the death of Merle, my favorite sequence was in the beginning on the rooftop. I'm handcuffed to the roof. T-Dog drops the key down the pipe. I can't get loose, and I end up cutting my hand off. The whole sequence for me was unbelievable. To be able to do a 9-minute monologue was fantastic. To watch it again is simply amazing. Frank Darabont, my man, thank you for casting me, and Gail Ann Hurd, thank you for casting me in that role.
Action!
My character, Merle Dixon, is a fairly intense guy.
So Michael was also asked about the death of the character and the character leaving the show and the talk about all of that. And he said it's basically 3 years of work and they held off on the second season. I'm not sure AMC knew what to do with the character. They held off and they held off. And the moment I came back in the sequence when Norman's character has fallen into the ravine and I end up being his guardian angel who comes to him and antagonizes him enough to force him to get up and climb.
We love it. We're crazy to be here, but what the heck?
It was just a gorgeous way to bring the character back. Then in the third season, I come back full strength, which is so very memorable. So I think it's good that Michael Rooker is talking good, at least, of the show, still talking good of Frank Darabont and all of that. And that also kind of brings up, I'm going to be doing a ton of videos this coming week, possibly starting tonight, but more likely starting tomorrow. It's a first season. It's a first season, just everything behind the scenes, talking about the show, the actors, Robert Kirkman, Frank Darabont, creating the show, adapting it from the comic, what led Frank Darabont to even do it, and just the making of this and that. And there's the car crash at the beginning when Rick gets shot. That car crashes. They're chasing the car. They lay out the little snake thing and he runs over it and it flips. They had to do that 2 or 3 times. They had to fly in another driver because the first driver couldn't get it right and stuff. So I'm going to show you all of that stuff. So look forward to that. Full week, I don't know how long, just a whole bunch of videos on just season 1. So next up in news, if you saw my recent video of the Revering the Comic, Negan Lives, that just came out and all that stuff, I'll put that link in the description as well. There was a thing in the letter hacks that said Clementine Lives, which is a big thing. And if you don't play the game, it's Clementine's the character in the Telltale games, The Walking Dead. Went a few seasons and was very popular. But as this article says, this is from Destructoid.com, and it's The Walking Dead creator hints at Clementine's return. And so, like I say, I talked about it a little bit in the review video, But this article says Skybound brought Clementine's story back from the brink of becoming vaporware after Telltale collapsed in 2018. So it's quite in character for Kirkman and his studio to usher the lead of their beloved game series into the spotlight yet again. The least expensive way for them to do that would be through another one-shot comic, though I also wouldn't be surprised to see her join the cast of one or more of the Walking Dead TV shows when they finally return to the airwaves. And personally, I doubt that because the Telltale games are based more on the comic, where the comic and the Telltale games are one thing and the show is supposed to be a whole another universe. So I'm aiming toward the one-off comic as well, or possibly even a series. But anyway, they go on to say, either way, it will be great to see the only universally liked character from this multimedia franchise return to the fold. So yeah, it's looking more like it could be a comic adaptation from the games to keep that story going forward instead of making more games. And lastly, in this news video anyway, just want to say Negan Lives #1, or the one shot, whatever it's going to be, did I think top the week's sales as far as comic book, and a lot of the comic stores were really sending praise to Robert Kirkman, saying thank you, it was good timing, they didn't have to pay for shipping or anything. So that's cool that it was a top selling comic. Kudos again to Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adlard for doing that, for being that, and at this crucial time that the comic stores probably needed it most. That's something that Marvel or DC hasn't done, everybody. So just throwing it out there. Skybound, Image Comics, Robert Kirkman, The Walking Dead has done stuff, has stepped up, has been a power player in this as far as up to this point. Probably more than anybody else as far as Marvel, DC, and some of the others. That's pretty big, man. That's a power. That's a power right there. So just throwing it out there. The Walking Dead, it's not a little thing. Yeah, so many people stopped watching the show and all of this, but it's a thing, man. It's a thing. It's real. But that's it for this news video. Let me know what you think about it all in the discussion below, and I will join you there. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more dead stuff.